Welcome back to Animal Notebook. Let's jump right into a brand new explainer, ladybugs, lost in the lawn. Today we're looking at a creature we've all seen a million times in our own backyards. But trust me, by the end of this, you are going to look at them in a totally different light. I mean, we all recognize this classic, cute little red bug with the black spots, right? They're the stars of childhood stories. They're practically garden ornaments. It's so easy to look at that shiny, dome-shaped shell and assume they're just simple, adorable little insects. But what's actually hiding beneath that spotted exterior? Well, it turns out nature just refuses to keep things simple. The reality of this specific insect is so much more complex, incredibly diverse, and honestly, way more ruthless than those children's books ever let on. We're talking bizarre life cycles and some seriously intense survival tactics. So let's get right into it with Section 1, Beyond the Classic Red Bug. First things first, we've got to dismantle a massive myth about what they actually are. There are over 6,000 described species of ladybugs worldwide. And to start the scientific record straight right off the bat, they aren't even true bugs at all. They are beetles belonging to the family Coccinellidae. And while we always picture them as red, they come in a huge array of colors. Depending on the species, you might spot ones that are yellow, pink, brown, completely black, cream-colored, or even a wild blue-gray. And speaking of myths, you know that old playground rumor that counting a ladybug's spots tells you exactly how old it is? Yeah, completely false. A 7-spotted lady beetle doesn't just magically grow a new spot every year. That pattern is literally just a characteristic of its specific species. Some have 20 spots, some have stripes, and some have absolutely no spots at all. Moving on to Section 2, the fierce alligator larvae. Okay, if you think the adults are fascinating, just wait until you meet their babies. Ladybugs go through what scientists call complete metamorphosis. That means their life cycle isn't just about getting bigger. They actually live through 4 entirely different stages of existence. It goes egg, larva, pupa, and finally the adult beetle we recognize. And this brilliantly illustrates how wild nature is because that second stage, the larva, looks absolutely nothing like the adult. Just look at this description. The larvae are basically tiny, spiky alligators. They are elongated, bumpy, and usually black with these bright orange or yellow markings. Because they look so rugged and alien, a lot of well-meaning gardeners immediately squash them, assuming they must be some terrible garden pest. But squashing them is a massive mistake. Which brings us to Section 3, a voracious garden predator. So, what are these strange alligator-like larvae and the cute adult beetles actually doing crawling all over your prized plants? Well, while a few rogue species do eat plants or fungi, the vast majority of ladybugs are voracious, highly active predators. They literally spend their days constantly patrolling leaves, hunting for their next meal. And here is the crucial takeaway. They are your garden's ultimate natural pest controllers. A single ladybug can consume thousands of aphids over its lifetime. They gorge on scale insects, mealybugs, and mites, all those soft-bodied pests that suck the sap right out of your plants and ruin your crops. Actually, the larvae are often even more active predators than the adults. It's exactly why farmers have been using them for centuries as completely chemical-free pest control. All right, Section 4, Chemical Warfare and Defenses. Now, being a fierce predator is great, but it's pretty tough when you only measure a few millimeters across. They need some extreme survival tactics so they don't become a quick snack for a passing bird. Those bright red, orange, and yellow colors we love, they aren't just for show. In the animal kingdom, this is called aposematism. It's a bold visual warning to birds and spiders that basically screams, "Do not eat me, I taste absolutely terrible." And if the bright warning colors don't scare off a predator, the ladybug brings out the heavy artillery. They resort to something called reflex bleeding. When they're threatened, they literally ooze a stinky, irritating, yellowish chemical fluid right out of their leg joints. Yeah, they basically bleed out of their knees. It smells awful and definitely discourages most predators from taking a bite. Let's look at Section 5, Winter Guests and House Pests. That intense instinct for survival is exactly why you might have a really unexpected and sometimes annoying encounter with them in your own home when the seasons change. When it gets cold, ladybugs need to survive the winter freeze. Certain species, especially the multicolored Asian lady beetle, actively seek out warm, sunny, protected spots.
Unfortunately for us, the walls and attics of our homes mimic the natural rock crevices they're looking for. They release chemical signals to attract the others, resulting in massive groups gathering inside to safely hibernate or overwinter together.
All right, Section 6. Top ladybug questions answered. To wrap up this explainer here on Animal Notebook, let's rapidly fire through the top 4 most frequently asked questions our community sends in. Question 1. Do they bite? The answer is occasionally, yeah. While they don't have stingers and they certainly don't feed on human blood, some species, again like that Asian lady beetle, can give you a surprising little pinch with their mandibles if they land on your skin and feel threatened. Question 2. Are they poisonous? You can rest easy here, they aren't dangerously toxic to humans. However, those defensive chemicals we just talked about make them incredibly unpleasant to eat. If a pet were to gobble up a large cluster of them, it could definitely cause some stomach irritation or a digestive upset. Question 3. Where do they go in the winter if they aren't inside my house? Well, many native species simply go into a dormant state out in nature. They shelter deep in leaf litter, tuck themselves under tree bark, hide in dead wood, or just hunker down under vegetation until the spring sunshine wakes them back up. And our final question, do ladybugs have predators? Yes, they absolutely do. Despite the amazing chemical defenses, the reflex bleeding, and the bright warning colors, they are still successfully hunted and eaten by certain birds, specialized spiders, amphibians, and reptiles. And that brings us to a perfect concluding thought. As our source material beautifully puts it, being a predator yourself doesn't exempt you from the menu, because the food web is relentlessly democratic. So, the next time you see that classic red beetle resting on a leaf, remember the knee-bleeding chemical warfare and the insatiable appetite for aphids hidden just beneath that cute exterior. Kind of makes you wonder, what other tiny, ruthless predators are hiding in plain sight right in your own backyard? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time on Animal Notebook.